Alright, what's going on, guys? T Torres back here for another video. Today we have an exciting video going on. I'm picking up my downpipe getting coated, and then the other elbow piece that goes to the turbo inlet pipe. So we will be installing the downpipe today, and hopefully if we have enough time I will be doing the turbo inlet pipe as well. So let's go ahead and get the car started and warmed up, because this is going to be the last time we hear the car on the factory downpipe and front pipe, because we did go catless downpipe, so it should be a huge difference. So as you can hear right now, here's a cold start. She is absolutely quiet. We got to change that. Alright, we just got the car to the garage, so let's go ahead, get this hood lifted up. Thankfully, it's only like a 5-minute drive from the house. Let the engine start cooling off, because we're going to be working all in here, baby. And then get our parts out of the oven. There we have it. There is the Cerakoted downpipe. Then here is the turbo elbow piece. Looks freaking great. Great job, Zach. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Alright, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and disassemble the intake and then start working on getting this piping out. Alright, so we got to get this wiring harness out of the way. There's a 10mm bolt here, and if you follow it down to the bottom, there's another 10mm bolt that you need to remove in order to get this wiring harness free from this inlet pipe. Alright, so I got the harness is loose. Those two bolts are out, and then you have a 12mm bolt. Let me see if I can focus in on it. Come on. She doesn't want to focus. Anyways, there is a 12mm bolt there, and then there's one right below here that you need to get out. This one right here is going to be why you want to remove the actual harness. Right in between here and here, there's another 12mm that you need to get out, and then we'll remove these top bolts, and then this inlet pipe should come right out. Alright, I've already broke these loose, but you have 4 10mm bolts on top of the inlet pipe. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and then there's 4. Go ahead and get those bad boys removed. Alright, we got all the bolts removed. Let's go ahead and get this pipe. Oh, I forgot. There's actually 5 bolts. There's one extra 10mm right here that has a washer on it. So let's go ahead and get that out. Boom! There you have it. The factory turbo inlet pipe is now out. That wasn't very hard, maybe 30 minutes to remove. Alright, next let's remove this 12mm bolt here. There's a 12mm here, and then right here where my finger is, you can't really see very well, there's another, I think it's a 10 that you need to move right here. And then as you can see, I have all the O2 sensors are now unplugged and removed off of the little mounting bracket spot right there. Alright, the next thing you want to do is you want to remove this top O2 sensor. If you do not have a plug remover for this, I got mine at Advanced Auto Parts for like 12 bucks. Has a slit in it just like that, allows you to get on top of it, and then you can break it loose. Alright, scratch that part that I said about going to the workbench. I went ahead and installed it onto the downpipe. Made no sense to take it to the workbench, but man, that Cerakote turned out freaking amazing. Downpipe looks good, and then the elbow piece for the inlet pipe turned out freaking awesome as well. Thanks again, Zach. Okay, so me being that I'm on a lift, there's another 12mm bolt that sits on the bottom of this heat shield. Let me get this heat shield out and show you exactly where it sits. But it was, I don't know how people get it. I guess they'd have to take the shield off on the bottom cover and then go up from under like I did, and I just went up there with a ratchet and wrench and got it off. Okay, so as you can see here, there's one here, there's one here, and there's one right here at the on the very bottom that is a pain in the rear. But thankfully I was able to get up on the lift, drop that shield, get in there blind with a ratchet wrench, and get that bolt out. So finally, now we can spray some penetrating oil on the bolts and let it soak for a good several hours. All right, so we're going to use some PB Blaster, as you can see here, and we're going to spray this top bolt here, that bolt there, and then there is a third one down in between. There we go. Let me zoom in for you. There's a third one you need to spray with some penetrating oil. And they say, you know, let it sit for several hours. If you can't afford, let it sit for at least 24 hours or more. All right, you know, I stand corrected. I'm human. So you got 1, 2, and the third one I'll show you. And there's actually 4. The fourth one is right. I don't know if it's going to let me zoom in between the gap. But there is a fourth one right where my finger's pointing. Like I said, go ahead and spray some penetrating oil and let that sit for 24 hours or longer. All right, we have success. This bolt broke off super easy. This top one broke off super easy. The one behind here broke off super easy. The one closest here to the fan shroud and the radiator gave me a little trouble, but patience is key when you're working with these bolts, so you do not break one of these studs off on the turbo. So thankfully, you know, I sprayed this down with PB Blaster for several times, and then hours and hours and hours later, all 3 of these broke pretty good. They broke free pretty easy, but that fourth one was an issue. So I'm gonna go ahead and jack the car up, and let's go ahead and get disconnected from the front pipe. Also, because I didn't mention, those are 14mm bolts. For the next part of the downpipe removal and the front pipe to get out, there's a 14mm here, there's a third one here, and then you have 4 more. You got to remove one here, one there, and then the fourth one is on this bracket right here. So 4 more 14 after you move these 3 14s. The moment we've all been waiting for. Get this freaking downpipe out of here. Voila, there you have it. There is the factory downpipe. Thankfully, no studs were broken. Heck yes. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the secondary O2 sensor and then remove this heat shield off the factory downpipe. It's going to be 4 10mm bolts. I already took one of them out, and then there's 2 on the correlating sides. Okay, so just to give you guys a little visual off camera, I built the PRL downpipe with the factory heat shield on the ground. So you have the pipe standing up like this. You'll have your smallest spacer on this side, and then the longest spacer that PRL provides on the bottom side. So with the PRL logo up top, you'll have on this side with the middle O2 sensor, obviously going with the curve, and then the 2 10mm bolts that you took off of the factory downpipe for the heat shield. So let's go ahead and get this downpipe installed. All right, here's one last look at the Cerakoted downpipe. Zach, I know you're watching this. Thank you so much for doing this. This looks absolutely awesome. I almost don't even want to touch it, even though my hands are greasy and stuff, but she's a beaut. If you guys have a local shop that can do it, I definitely recommend it. She is an absolute beaut. Dang, that looks so freaking good. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just button up these 4 bolts here. It's going to be these bolts here. So now it's just time to put everything back in place. Then we'll get up under the car, jack it up, and finish off with the front pipe. I can't wait to flash the car and hear what this bad boy sounds like. All right, the next step in the process is to remove the front pipe. Now, whether or not you had to loosen this down or not, I did it as far as ease of moving this pipe. So now we have 3 14mm bolts here, one there, and one there. So let's go ahead and get those removed. All right, so after you have the back loosened, and of course I already had the front loose from taking it off from the downpipe, you have a bushing, to hold on to your pipe here. And all I did was I took a pry bar and got back behind here and just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And as you can see, it is fully off. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy off and get the new one on. I'm ready to hear this thing fire up. So the front pipe is not out. It's not the most fun, it's not the easiest, but I will tell you what I learned. So right up in here, I was getting caught at like a weird angle, and there's literally there's two 10mm bolts, one right there, and there's one right here where my finger's at. Of course, the camera's not focusing. I loosened that, and for some reason or some way, it loosened this heat shield enough to where it gave me just enough room, and boom, the front pipe came right out. So thankfully that happened like that. So let's go ahead and get the new front pipe on, transfer this, and the new hardware, the new gaskets, and then of course we have 6 new supply bolts. We're one step closer to firing this bad boy up. Here is a little size comparison. Factory PRL, factory PRL, way bigger. Of course the diameter is way bigger, so it's gonna help fill all that air out from that turbski. Okay, as you can see, the front pipe, downpipe is now complete. Everything is all buttoned up, tight. We put our brackets back on for the downpipe. So now all we're gonna do is put our shielding back down. I'm going to double check all the bolts one more time, and then we're gonna go back on top, and for now, since it's late, I'm going to put the factory inlet pipe back on, flash the tune, and get this thing started. And so we can hear it for the first time and head back home. Okay, everything under the hood is done besides the factory heat shield. I'm going to remove that anyways tomorrow to do the turbo inlet pipe. So now I'm going to go to the car with my K-tuner off the shelf map. It's called the PRL full bolt-ons for the intercooler, downpipe, charge pipes, and the turbo inlet pipe. But that'll be on tomorrow. So I'm going to go flash the car, and we're one step closer to firing this puppy up. All right, car has been flashed and tuned. Let's go ahead and get this cold start. Doesn't sound much different off of cold start, but I can definitely tell it's a little bit deeper and has a more of a throaty noise to it. So I'm gonna let the car warm up and then we'll give it some revs. Alright, car's warmed up. Let's give it some revs and see what it sounds like. I can definitely tell a difference on spool, the throaty noise. I can hear the turbo a lot more. Yeah, I can't wait for the drive home. But guys, I am super exhausted. I'm gonna try to get this video edited and out for you guys tonight. It is super late, but yeah, I look forward to doing the turbo inlet pipe tomorrow. So it should be a nice, fun drive home. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave it a big thumbs up. We're continuing to grow the channel, and I appreciate each and every single one of my subscribers. But about 70% now, you guys aren't subscribed. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notifications, leave this video a big thumbs up, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.